everybody, I'm Random Bystander, and I'm a random bystander who's here to entertain you with games, laughs, and lots of fun. And today we're talking about Crazy Taxi. It's Crazy Taxi, a game where you play as a crazy taxi driver, crazily driving around the crazy place with crazy product placements. I want to tell you that this game is absolutely, positively, and without a doubt, pretty good.
I've never had the pleasure of playing Crazy Taxi until extremely recently. Even though I had both a PS2 and a Gamecube, I just never had the chance to even pick it up as a child, nor play it in the arcade. I'm not even sure it was an arcade title back when I was young in the early to mid 2000s. However, I was walking through my local retro game store and found it at a pretty cheap price. A friend recommended it to me and the cover looked enticing, so I decided to give it a go. So what was it like playing Crazy Taxi for the first time ever? Let's shift this review into gear and find out. The game starts out with the Sega logo, followed by an Akklaim logo driving on screen and hitting you in the face, followed by the opening of Crazy Taxi. It quickly sets the tone for the game and how we are really in for a wild ride. Oh, come on, I couldn't resist, come on. And the title screen pops up and one question enters my mind. What is that thing on the logo? A bug? An alien? A tire with teeth? What is it? Aristotle would forever ponder that question. None of that matters as we hear one of the most iconic voices in all of gaming and arcade history.
Hey, come on over, have some fun with Crazy Taxi!
I know we haven't gotten to any gameplay yet, but I love how energetic this guy is. Even before I bought the game, I knew about this guy's voice. He sounds like an auctioneer on a sugar high who's trying to give you an honest but yet the fastest pep talk of your life.
Alright, let's go make some crazy money. Hey, it's time to make some crazy money. Are you ready? Here we go! Alright, it's time to check out how you did today. Now let's take a look. Class D license. Game over.
He's sprinkled all throughout the game, and it is so delightfully 90s. I thought the announcer would get annoying after a while, but not only is the voiceover incredibly energetic, but what he says is never really repetitive, and it seems like he has an endless variety of different things to say throughout the game. He's really cool. The two main modes are arcade mode and original mode, with the only difference being that the arcade is the same area you could drive around from the original arcade, while original has an entirely new area made just for this game. You can also decide if you want to set a specific time limit, and what cabbie you want to play as. You can play as the tool, the hot chick, the cool hip dude, or the creepy guy with a deep voice and chest hair.
Gus!
Okay, let's have some fun.
I don't want to have fun with this guy. As the camera pans onto the cab and we see the different license plates, we hear the countdown and the crazy driving begins. The goal of the game is to get passengers from point A to point B and make some crazy money. You use the A button to shift to drive, the B button to shift in reverse, and the R button and L button to accelerate and decelerate. You have to find passengers to get them to their destination. Once they hop in your car, you follow the arrow and get them to their desired locations. The more passengers you drive, the more money you get. And your goal is to drive as many customers until time runs out. You get bonus tips for not only getting there super fast, but also for reckless driving.
Let's go! Yeah, I know.
Yes, you actually get points for driving insanely on the road, whether it be making huge jumps on ramps or driving extremely close to cars. Apparently, the passengers love their thrill rides enough that they will pay you extra for nearly killing them. But then again, they decide to get in our car even if we're this close to running them over.
You can really kill me!
Yet you get in our cab despite that. Are we really the only taxi service in this town? As you drive, you go way above the speed limit, run through red lights, bump into cars, and there is not a single cop out there even attempting to stop you. The amount of destruction and mayhem this cab causes would make me want to avoid driving at all costs. I don't care how late I am, I want to live. Although to be fair, it seems no matter what I crash into, this car is indestructible. Whether the car flips, turns over, hits walls, or even drives underwater, it still keeps going.
It even works underwater.
And you're going to want to keep driving as much as possible and as fast as possible in order to get a higher score. You can't take your time when driving passengers to where they want to go. Along with the time limit for the game itself, you have another time limit for your guests as well that is color-coded. Green means that the trip is fast and you will get a lot of bonus cash. Yellow means that it was another normal ride, not too slow, but definitely not fast enough for this crazy game. Red means that you are taking way too long and that the customer will begin to get impatient and even start to yell at you, and even get mad at you once you reach your destination. And once the timer hits 0, Oh, okay, you said I'm the one who nearly killed you, but you're the one who has no problem jumping headfirst out of a moving vehicle. They are so mad at you that they are willing to risk their lives and yeet out of the taxi cab and evaporate from existence just because you were too slow. That level of impatience cannot be duplicated. To say this game is a bit chaotic is truly an understatement, but honestly, the chaos adds to the fun. The craziness of Crazy Taxi, how fast it is, the mayhem you can cause, and the overall feel to the game gives Crazy Taxi personality, and it makes it memorable. I can't tell you the amount of times I found myself laughing hard because of something happening in the game. It really gets insane, and I love it. Plus, the music adds on to the absolute craziness, with songs from The Offspring and Bad Religion, whose music fits the game very well. Here, have a listen. Alright, you're gonna have to take my word for it, but this music screams 90s and makes driving crazily even more fun. No matter where you go, it's always an adventure. Even if it's a simple trip to the airport, church, or even Pizza Hut, that can be memorable. And wait a minute, go back! What is Pizza Hut doing in my game? Yeah, there's surprisingly a lot of ads in this game, whether it be for Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and even The Gap. I always forget this place exists. Apparently Sega was the one that approached these brands and asked them to be part of the game. Good thinking, Sega! I don't know about you, but after playing some Crazy Taxi, I am absolutely craving chicken wings, pepperoni pizza, and dad sweaters. Happy Father's Day! The third game mode is Crazy Box mode, which is a bunch of little challenges, such as a time trial, driving and popping all the balloons, drift challenges, crazy jumping challenges, and more. These challenges really add variety to the gameplay and really test your skills in the game. Not only that, but the methods used to perform challenges can be used to help your score in the main game. For example, in one challenge, you have to shift to reverse, then drive really quickly in order to perform a huge speed boost. Learning how to do that made a huge difference in my score in the main game itself. It's a really neat trick I never would have learned if it weren't for that specific challenge. Alright, those challenges were pretty fun. What else is there to do in this game? How about those option menus? This is probably my biggest complaint with the game. It's just those 3 modes, and that's really it. What you see is what you get, and while the main game mode is really fun, it definitely does not seem like a game you can play for longer periods of time, unless you really love that gameplay style. It's designed to be an arcade game, and that's fine, but in a day and age where games have multiple objectives and endless type of modes and endless achievements, Crazy Taxi's lack of different gameplay style may be off-putting for some. However, I don't care. I love this game! This is the type of game you play if you've had a rough day at school or work and just want to blow off some steam, wreak havoc, and try to increase your score as much as you can. While this may be the only thing to do in Crazy Taxi, the game has been fun since the arcades and continues to be fun, and I'm so glad I finally got to play the game for the first time. As the crazy gameplay, the 90s vibe, and their overall unique idea itself has made Crazy Taxi incredibly memorable. And you can even still play it on Xbox 360, PS3, and even Android. Please let it come to the Switch. But you know what my favorite thing about Crazy Taxi is, even though it has nothing to do with the original game? It's the instruction manual. I'm not kidding, they put a lot of time and effort into this booklet. It shows basic controls and tips, but it has a lot more than that. It has variously detailed backstories for all the cab drivers, showing off their personalities, unique facts about them, what their license plate numbers mean, which is something I never really noticed until the manual pointed it out, and other information about them the game would have never told me. They really went above and beyond with creating actual characters for this game, as even the NPC passengers seem to have all backstories, and I really am happy that they went the extra mile? Hold on, stop the booing. What is this? A number to call and ask tips about Crazy Taxi? And only 95 cents a minute. I wonder.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again. Announcement for...
Hey, come on over, have some fun with Crazy Taxi!